So today we're going to be taking a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, we saw the major war. The major war that happened over here in Asia and Europe. It really collapsed the three major countries, Russia, and of course the Ottomans, and a lot of countries gained independence from them. And I can tell you one thing, it is not looking good for the Russians. They not only lost a lot of land, but also they're just in a political instability right now. They lost a bunch of land. Ukraine also declared independence. That was a pretty major area. They lost their footholds and, well, everything over here. And, well, it is looking like the Russians are going to collapse as we see a rebel group form up. That being a rebel group out of this area, and it kind of looks like the Dark Side team is invading, so I might change it to a different color. Yeah, I changed it to this orange. But anyways, this orange rebellion comes out of all of the northern area of Russia, and it comes out of all of that. That is actually the core territory that this orange nation has. And this is a lot of land for the Russians to deal with. But oh boy, here comes another rebellion. That is going to go ahead and be a greenish kind of rebellion over here in the southern region next to the borders of Ukraine. And the purple team and this other pink team right here. Yeah, so basically, these rebellions just want land. Also, that kind of looks a little too gold, so I'm going to change it to that. There we go. And if we turn on cities, we can see that they don't have too many major cities. The gold team just captured their first major city, and this country up here just captured their second major city. That is when the Russians are going to start to try to fight back. So the Russians will try to fight back over here in this region, which is it's not very populated, and there's not a lot of orange slash gold infrastructure in that area. So that's the wrong color. But anyways, the gold team slash orange team is just gonna go ahead and push through these defensives or these offensives, and it looks like they're gonna try to encircle a larger amount of troops. Unfortunately for the Russians, they just cannot hold this green team off as they are getting supplied by multiple different countries in this region, so that's just something to know. And after the orange team captures another major city, another rebel group will form out of this country. This will be the last one. A purple slash bluish. I'm gonna actually change it to more of a bluish. A bluish kind of rebellion will form, and this is on the border of the brown team, and it is just to capture as much land as possible. So they were like really, it was really surprising that this formed up. But anyways, yeah, they are going to push toward the capital of the Russians, and wow, this is not going good for them. Oh dang, this is really not going good for them. As the Ukrainians start making their pushes into Russia, and they capture all of this land right here before they eventually stop. Good for them, because they probably shouldn't go after whatever this is. But speaking of whatever this is, it is going to go ahead and surrender, and we're gonna take a look on how Russia is no longer going to exist, and that is well, that are kind of spoiled for you, but yeah, Russia is no longer going to exist. Let's go ahead and take a look at this peace. So, taking a look at this peace treaty, we see that the Ukrainians will get all of this land right here, which is a really good claim. Yeah, they don't get all that they invaded, but they get even more so. And like I said, it's a really good claim because Russia has bullied them in the past. A new green nation will form up right here. This was one of those rebellions. And by the way, I am going to add more major cities to this area after I get done with the peace treaty. Anyways, there's a new beige kind of color country over here, and I forgot to color in one pixel. There we go. There is now a beige color country right in this region, so that's pretty cool. There's a new gold team, and they have a lot of land. That is not the right color. They have a lot of land, which is good for them, as they were the starting rebellion, and it makes sense for them to have a lot of land. So yeah, there is our new gold country. The new bluish country will pop up right here, and yeah, that's one of the rebellions. Like I said, even though they do have one major city, I will add more major cities after the war ends. Well, after I get done with speech tree. But anyways, we see a new red country forming right here. This is just on the border of this purple team, and I was debating if I wanted to keep this or not, or give it to the gold team. I'm going to keep it for now. But we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future to that country. But anyways, the final country that will be appearing is this new brown team, and that is it for Russia. They no longer exist due to the wishes of somebody in Sweden named Krag. Alright, so I added some more major city, but now it's time to add capitals for the countries. So the capital of this green country will be right here. For the blue country, it will be in the center, kind of, right there. The brown team will keep its capital where the former Russian capital was. The red team's capital will be right here. The brown slash gold team's capital is going to be right there. And then for the final team, the beige team, it will be right there. So there are our new Russian countries. Russia has been abolished as a state. And, well, now we have a lot of new countries over here in Eastern Europe. But coming over here to the gold team, we see a similar thing happen to Russia that happened to. And the gold team has been very unstable for these past couple of months. You know, the war over here kind of plunged the gold team into an economic depression, and the military also is kind of diverting away. They want to do something different, so a lot of them actually move over to Kaliningrad, which becomes a militarized state, otherwise known as Prussia, but they become a militarized state. And the gold team, well, they are not doing good. Their stability is tanking. The stability of the purple team is also tanking. These two countries have weighing kind of stability, and the gold team is showing signs of collapse, but they will try to keep this all together as one, but they will have to release some lands in the process. So they released all of this land over to Kaliningrad, and now they're gonna go ahead and make a new country over here. Well, it's really not new, but we'll have to see what that looks like right about now. They release a familiar face known as Poland. Poland is now back. They have not been a country for a long time. They were gobbled up by the gold team pretty much as soon as they got they formed a country. But like I said, Poland's back, and they're ready for some revenge, but just not yet. They also released all this land to the white country, which they really even didn't. They didn't even need to do that. They just did it because why not? And then we'll release a new country actually, and that will be the last one for now, which is just a jumble of mess right here. And the gold team had just they just gave a lot of their territory away, but they're more stable now, which is a good thing, and they have better they're getting better relations with the outside world, whereas like before they didn't have good relations with pretty much any country. They were all pretty bad. They had a slightly positive view of the purple team, and that was pretty much it. The rest of the guys kind of did not like them. But anyway, the capital of Poland will be right here. The capital of this lime green country will be right there. And that is the new capitals for these countries. Coming over here to the Holy Norwegian Empire, we're going to see that the yellow and the green countries unite. And that is to, well, unify this empire. So the yellow team is going to pour into this orange team, and they fully take it, while the green team pours into this blue team. They will now jointly make an operation into the red country, and then they start invading parts of this gray country, and well, they fully divide the Holy Norwegian Empire between themselves. So let's go ahead and take a look at this piece. The Norwegian state is back under one. There are two unified countries under one banner, the yellow Norwegians and the green Norwegians. So technically they don't still exist, but they still exist as one unified empire. And their capital will be right there. The Norwegians are back, and ironically after the Swedish collapse. So we'll just see how that plays out in the future. But anyways, yeah, Norway is back. It's been a while since you saw the map like that, and it's really clean now. I like it. Anyways, let's move on to some colonization. So, more of America has been discovered, all of the Great Lake region, even up to this Canadian Great Lake, and they fully take all of Ontario, so that's pretty cool. And from here, they're going to be going ahead and making some more claims. The blue team will make this really big claim right here, and it seems like they're trying to exert themselves out into America, and that's of course what they're trying to do. They also make another claim which fully cuts off the purple team from any more expansion, and that claim looks something like this. So, not all of that. They take all of Michigan, and that's a good thing for me because I live in Michigan, and my favorite country is the blue team. So, yeah, but I'm going to have to eventually get rid of this blue team. I'm not gonna glaze it like, some other guys. Some other people have glazed countries in the Middle East. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that the blue team's powerful. But anyways, the purple team will get the rest of this land, and they're mad. So you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna start colonizing parts of Canada, going behind the red team. But that is until the red team makes a ginormous claim, which looks something like this. This is a really big claim for them, and they exert themselves all the way up into this main area, and even to parts of Canada. However, the purple team is going to do more smart things as they take all of this land right here. So, yeah, smart thing. Anyways, we see the elf nations. They're going to go ahead and expand the purple team. They expand into something that looks like this, and that's basically just South Carolina at this point. This is basically Georgia at this point as they start expanding and they form up a claim that looks something like this. So the elves take all of this, or the green elves take all of that land. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. So the orange will claim all of this, a good claim. The pink guys will claim all of that. And then the brown team is going to claim a very ginormous part of land, which cuts the green team off from any more expansion. And that looks something like this. So this is basically not all of that. Why would I do all of that? Hold on, all of that. And this is basically just, what, Alabama or Mississippi? No, that's Mississippi. This is Georgia. There's really no Alabama. It's just divided between the two. But anyways, yeah, so the elf nations are growing rapidly, and there's another one appearing. This time it's one over here on the border between the orange team and the pink team. So yay, there's a new elf country in the world. And well, yeah, so these countries are advancing rapidly, which is good for them. Over here in Cuba, though, we see that these guys are gonna fully take all of the Bahamas, and no, not all of that. They're gonna take all of the Bahamas and the rest of Cuba. So yeah, the Florida nation, by the way, is the most powerful elf country. Just if you didn't know. Then followed by these guys, and then I don't really know from there. Coming over here to South America, we see some more exploration of lands in Ecuador and Peru, as well as in Guyana, Suriname, and even heading more into Brazil. And the English team is going to make a claim, which is going to look something like this. And that's a large portion of Venezuela. But more people are moving over here, which is a good thing for them. And they also make a claim up into Central America that looks a little something like this. So we see that the English have expanded. What the gold team is gonna go ahead and take the rest of this. Yeah, the gold team, after they have gone through their instability, they are back and better than ever as they start expanding, and they are a big colonial power. And well, they start expanding all the way over to here into Mexico. So something like that. There you go. And they also captured Jamaica, which is pretty cool. Of these islands over here. So, yeah, they have that under their belts now. The British, English, or the Irish Welsh Union is gonna go ahead and make a ginormous claim. And that looks something like this. So they meet up with Lake Ontario, and well, their claim is very, very, very big. And it cuts off like the purple team, but they're just gonna go ahead and take the rest of this. So as we can see, colonization is wrapping up. Well, not wrapping up. It's going very quickly, and it doesn't seem like it will be stopping anytime soon. Speaking of the Irish Welsh Union, they're gonna go ahead and go to war with the purple team. Now, the purple team used to be in alliance with Sweden, however, the Triangle Alliance no longer exists. So that will no longer stand, and well, that is ugly. What just happened? The Welsh and the Irish will just, yeah, bye. So the purple team, which used to be a rebellion of this Irish team, is going to go ahead and die, and they are going to go ahead and get fully annexed by the Welsh Irish Union, and that line will disappear. And yeah, now fully the British Isles and Ireland are now fully under uh one union, political union that is. Oh my god, I hate this computer. Anyways, the Australians are going to continue their kind of expansion into this whole continent. And let's go ahead and take a look at their claim. Good God. So yeah, the purple team will expand into these two very large areas. And yeah, basically all of Australia is already a part of this purple team or slash this red team. And it probably will become fully part of this red team in the next episode. But coming up north to the to this whole area known as the Southeast Asian area. The red Burman country, the orange Thailand country, the kind of brownish Vietnamese country, the green Cambodians, the blue Malaysians, the lime kind of Indonesians, and then these purple Indonesians. They have all good relations with each other, and guess what they're going to be doing? Well, they're all going to be uniting under one banner, that being the Southeast Asian Union. Every single country in Southeast Asia will start to eventually join this union. And eventually they all unite into the Southeast Asian Union. And let's go ahead and take a look at their capital. So it's not going to be here, here, or here. And it's not going to be here, here. So it's between these two cities right here. And, well, they're going to do a little bit of a compromise. They don't do any of those cities. Instead, they're going to go ahead and put their capital in the tip of Malaysia, or not the tip of Malaysia, the tip of Vietnam right here. And that is the Southeast Asian Union's capital. So, that is good for them. It's on a little peninsula, and it'll be hard for any country to capture it. But anyways, this is the Southeast Asian Union, and I will tell you, they do not have good relations with Australia, but we'll just have to see how that plays out in later episodes. I do realize this episode is becoming a little bit long. But anyways, we're going to have another event, and that is to do with China, and they're going to be invading this kind of reddish country right here. They have no purpose on the map. They should not be here. But the Chinese will invade, and well, they're just gonna get to about here, and then the red team is gonna be like, okay, well, you're stronger than us. It'd probably be better if we were under you. So the red team is just gonna go ahead and capitulate itself, and well, they're fully annexed into China. And if we look at capitals, we can get rid of this capital, and there we go. So now that country no longer exists. A very quick one. But that is gonna go ahead and do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. This was a pretty eventful episode. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.